Friedrich Nietzsche was a German philosopher born in 1844, known for his thought-provoking ideas that challenged traditional beliefs about morality and existence. He was a keen observer of human nature and often focused on the struggles people face as they navigate their lives. Nietzsche famously declared, "God is dead," a statement that pointed to the decline of traditional values in society. This idea urged individuals to create their own meaning and purpose in a world that often feels chaotic. One of Nietzsche's key concepts is the will to power, which suggests that the fundamental driving force in humans is not merely survival or reproduction but the desire to exert one's influence and achieve personal goals. He believed that life is full of struggles, and those struggles are essential for growth and self-discovery. Instead of shying away from challenges, Nietzsche encouraged people to embrace them, seeing obstacles as opportunities to become stronger and better. Nietzsche also introduced the idea of becoming an Übermensch or overman. This concept represents an individual who transcends societal norms to create their own values and live authentically. For Nietzsche, this journey toward self-empowerment is vital in a world filled with distractions and pressures. His philosophy inspires many to break free from societal expectations and focus on their paths, making it easier to stop worrying about what others think while striving for personal victories. Through understanding these ideas, I began to see how they could change my own life. As I delved deeper into Nietzsche's ideas, I began to recognize the burden of caring too much about what others thought of me. In high school, I was always anxious, seeking approval from my classmates. I wore the latest trends, tried to fit in with different groups, and worried constantly about being liked. This unnecessary weight left me stressed and often disappointed when things didn't go as planned. For instance, there was a time when I practiced hard for a school play, hoping to impress my friends and classmates. When I didn't get the lead role, I was crushed. Instead of viewing my efforts as personal growth, I let that single disappointment define me. It felt as if my worth depended solely on the opinions of others. Nietzsche's insights helped me see that this mindset was unhealthy. Constantly caring about others' perceptions created a cycle of anxiety that made it hard to enjoy my own accomplishments. I often felt like I was running in circles, trying to please everyone but myself. Reflecting on Nietzsche's philosophy allowed me to shift my focus. I realized that it was okay to care, up to a point, but I had to prioritize my own happiness and aspirations over the fleeting opinions of others. As I began to let go of that heavy burden, I found more freedom to pursue my passions without fear, opening the door to true personal victories and self-discovery. As I continued to explore Nietzsche's philosophies, one concept stood out prominently: the will to power. This idea suggests that the main drive in humans is not merely to survive, but to thrive and assert our influence in the world. It emphasizes the importance of pursuing our own goals and desires with passion and determination. Understanding the will to power encouraged me to take control of my life in ways I had never considered before. Instead of merely reacting to circumstances or seeking validation from others, I learned to identify what I truly wanted. For example, when I discovered a love for writing, I decided to dedicate my time to it instead of worrying about how it would be received by peers or teachers. I began to write stories and poems that resonated with me, even if they didn't conform to popular trends or expectations. This pursuit of my desires became empowering. Embracing the will to power meant acknowledging that my potential was endless as long as I was willing to work hard and stay true to myself. Challenges still arose, but instead of feeling defeated, I approached them with a sense of purpose. Each setback transformed into an opportunity for growth. Ultimately, Nietzsche's idea taught me that by actively pursuing my passions and asserting my individuality, I could thrive in a way that was uniquely fulfilling. This mindset shift set me on a path toward genuine success, one that was driven by my own aspirations rather than the opinions of others. As I embraced Nietzsche's ideas about the will to power, I also began to reshape my understanding of failure. Instead of viewing setbacks as dead ends, I learned to see them as necessary steps on the path to success. Nietzsche believed that challenges and failures are not just obstacles, they are essential parts of our growth and development. I vividly recall a time when I entered a writing competition, feeling confident about my story. After weeks of hard work, I submitted my piece and eagerly awaited the results. But reflecting on Nietzsche's teachings, I realized that this experience could teach me much more than victory ever could. Instead of wallowing in disappointment, I took the opportunity to analyze what went wrong. Was it my writing style? Did I miss the mark with the theme? This critical self-reflection became a powerful tool for improvement. With each failure, I gained insights that made my writing stronger and more authentic. Nietzsche taught me that success isn't merely defined by winning but by how we respond to our failures. By shifting my perspective, I transformed each setback into a learning experience, fueling my determination and creativity. This newfound resilience allowed me to push through difficulties with confidence, knowing that every stumble brought me closer to achieving my goals. As I continued to absorb Nietzsche's philosophies, one idea that resonated deeply with me was the importance of individualism. Nietzsche stressed the significance of being true to oneself and making choices that align with personal values rather than succumbing to societal norms or expectations. This realization sparked a transformation in how I approached my life. In the past, I often felt pressure to conform to what my friends considered cool. Whether it was about my interests, fashion choices, or even how I expressed myself, I tended to follow the crowd. However, as I reflected on Nietzsche's thoughts, I began to understand that true fulfillment comes from embracing my uniqueness and making choices that resonate with who I am. For instance, instead of worrying about fitting into specific social circles, I sought out activities that genuinely excited me. I joined a local writing group focused on poetry rather than sticking with parties where I felt out of place. This choice not only introduced me to like-minded individuals but also allowed me to express myself authentically. By valuing my individuality and prioritizing my passions over external approval, I found a sense of freedom. Nietzsche's teachings inspired me to explore new avenues and trust my instincts. Each decision aligned with my personal values propelled me further along the path of self-discovery. Embracing individualism became a key part of my journey toward success, leading me to a life filled with purpose and authenticity. As I delved deeper into Nietzsche's philosophies of individualism and self-acceptance, I recognized how crucial it was to let go of the need for others' approval. This realization was not easy, but it became a liberating journey towards true self-acceptance. One strategy one found helpful was practicing mindfulness. When negative thoughts about others' opinions flooded my mind, I took a moment to pause and breathe. I reminded myself that my worth isn't defined by how others see me, but by how I view myself. Another effective method was setting personal goals that prioritized my passions over societal expectations. For example, instead of seeking validation through grades or prestige, I focused on what truly inspired me, writing stories that reflected my voice. Celebrating small successes in these personal projects reinforced my sense of identity and confidence, allowing me to detach from external validation. Additionally, connecting with supportive communities helped me realize that many people feel the same pressures. Sharing experiences with others who also sought freedom from judgment created a sense of belonging. It's empowering to engage with those who inspire me to stay true to myself, reinforcing the idea that it's okay to be different. Ultimately, learning to let go became about embracing imperfections and accepting that not everyone would understand or appreciate my choices. Nietzsche encouraged us to live authentically and boldly, which guided me toward valuing my own approval above all else. This shift transformed not only how I viewed myself but also how I interacted with the world around me, leading to deeper connections and genuine happiness. As I continued to reflect on Nietzsche's teachings, I began to understand the profound truth behind his belief that struggle leads to growth. Life is full of challenges that can feel overwhelming, but instead of viewing them as burdens, I started to see them as opportunities for resilience. Nietzsche emphasized that suffering is not something to be avoided, it is an essential part of the human experience that can shape us into stronger individuals. One vivid example of this was during a period when I faced numerous rejections from literary publications. Each no felt like a blow to my confidence and made me question my abilities as a writer. However, instead of allowing these setbacks to defeat me, I chose to analyze why my submissions weren't accepted. Through this process, I learned valuable lessons about refining my craft and understanding what editors were looking for. This approach turned my disappointments into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Each rejection taught me perseverance and commitment, qualities that eventually strengthened my resolve. Over time, I began to celebrate the effort I put into each piece rather than focusing solely on the outcome. Nietzsche's philosophy helped me realize that resilience isn't simply about bouncing back, it's about embracing the struggle and using it as fuel for personal growth. With every challenge faced, I became more confident in my abilities and more determined to pursue my passions. This perspective shift transformed how I approached difficulties in life, allowing me to thrive amid adversity and emerge stronger each time. Delving into Nietzsche's notion of eternal recurrence opened my eyes to a profound perspective on life. This idea proposes that we should live as if each moment and decision will repeat forever, which urged me to embrace my life in its entirety, both the joyous and the challenging parts. By accepting that every experience could come around again, I started to see each moment as precious and worthy of appreciation. This shift in mindset redefined how I approached daily challenges. No longer did I dwell on negative experiences or get bogged down by regrets. Instead, I began to affirm the choices I made, believing they were necessary threads in the tapestry of my existence. For instance, when faced with a difficult scenario at work or in a personal project, I would pause and ask myself whether I would be content reliving that moment over and over again. This reflection helped me find meaning in the struggle and joy in small victories. Embracing this philosophy led to greater joy in my life. Instead of merely chasing outcomes, I started to celebrate my growth and resilience through every experience, good or bad. The power of affirmation, appreciating all facets of life, helped me win my internal battles and navigate external ones with newfound strength. Nietzsche's teachings inspired me to live boldly, making choices that align with my authentic self while cherishing the richness of life's journey. Each moment transformed into an opportunity for growth and happiness, guiding me towards a fulfilling existence. Applying Nietzsche's lessons to daily life involves practical steps that can transform how we approach relationships and work. One of the first ways I integrated his philosophy was by reframing how I responded to criticism. Rather than taking feedback personally, I viewed it as an opportunity for growth. This shift allowed me to engage in discussions more openly, fostering deeper connections with my colleagues who appreciated my willingness to learn. Another key tip is to embrace authenticity in relationships. Nietzsche advocated for being true to oneself, and I found that sharing my genuine thoughts and feelings with others led to more fulfilling interactions. Whether it was in friendships or romantic relationships, expressing my true self encouraged others to do the same, creating a cycle of honesty and trust. In the workplace, focusing on the will to power inspired me to take initiative on projects that excited me rather than just doing what was expected. By aligning my tasks with my passions, I not only stayed motivated but also produced better work that reflected my unique perspective. Additionally, setting aside time for self-reflection became essential. Just as Nietzsche encouraged accepting both joy and struggle, I made it a habit to assess my experiences regularly, celebrating achievements while recognizing areas for improvement. This practice not only increased my self-awareness but also equipped me to tackle future challenges with confidence. By incorporating these philosophies into everyday situations, I learned to navigate life's complexities with a renewed sense of purpose, ultimately leading me toward greater satisfaction and success. Reflecting on my journey through Nietzsche's teachings, I realize how profoundly they transformed my outlook on life. Initially, I was burdened by the weight of others' expectations and the fear of failure. However, embracing Nietzsche's philosophy sparked a mindset shift that encouraged me to prioritize winning over worrying. I learned that life is not merely about avoidance of struggle but about embracing it as a vital component of growth. One crucial lesson was that challenges are not setbacks, rather, they are stepping stones towards success. I began to see every obstacle as an opportunity to learn and develop resilience. This perspective not only boosted my confidence but also motivated me to pursue my passions wholeheartedly, unafraid of judgment or potential failures. Moreover, the importance of individualism resonated deeply within me. By focusing on what truly mattered to me and my values, interests, and goals, I found clarity and purpose in my actions. Letting go of the need for approval from others liberated me and opened new paths for self-discovery. Through the lens of eternal recurrence, I learned to cherish every moment, treating both victories and defeats as invaluable experiences. This holistic approach allowed me to navigate life with a renewed sense of joy and fulfillment. In conclusion, Nietzsche's teachings have reshaped my understanding of success, urging me to embrace life's complexities with courage and authenticity. As I move forward, I carry these lessons with me, confident in my ability to win by staying true to myself and viewing each experience as a chance for growth.